Okay, good evening, everybody. How you doing? Glad you made it on a Saturday night. It's 9 o'clock. It's time for Saturday Night Live weathering. Appreciate everybody being here. Appreciate all the shout outs I've got from Steve and from Ray. In case you missed it, I was on with Ray last night live on an impromptu around the layout live stream on it was on YouTube, not Facebook. I was going to get ready to say Facebook, but so that was fun, and hopefully everybody got to see that. Steve was on with him, and Ed Carroll was on with him. Ed O'Connor, I'm sorry, not Ed Carroll. Ed O'Connor was on with him. It's a lot of fun, so glad everybody was there. Hope everybody had a great week. Let's see, and had a pretty good week. Quiet, can't complain. Let's see, what was I up to? Did I do anything besides going on with Ray last night? I did a little bit of figure painting. So I'm working on another figure of my wife. So it's got a little bit of touch-up and weathering to do on her. Let's see if you can see it. And then I did another one on me. So let's see. Get another engineered head here. Here we go. So when Steve did me, he did me with a Cubs away cap. That's the blue cap with the red brim. So I'm doing a Cubs home cap on this one. So did a little bit of that. I've been working on another project, a secret project that I've been working on for a friend. So when that's done, I'll show that off, but I'm not going to show it off now. Again, I appreciate everybody being here. Thank you. Let's see who's in the chat. We'll start saying hi to everybody. So Steve's there. Hey, Steve, how you doing? Great stream tonight. Good to see you working on the cabin. A little change up from the figures, but Steve does some phenomenal buildings. I see Ian. Ian's there. Hey, Ian, how you doing? Bobby Hall. What's up, Bobby? Bill Hawk, how's it going? Bill, Bruce Castle. Hey, Bruce, how's it going? Ray, how's it going, Ray? Good to see you here. Who else? Anybody else? Did I miss anybody? Let me scroll down the chat a little bit also. Let me do before I forget to make sure it's not top chat, that it's live chat, so I don't miss anybody. Ian, Robert, Ian. Okay, this is everybody I can see right now on the chat, so we'll say hi to more people as they show up. Anyway, last week we were working on the Winchester and Western car. Car's right here. And I tell you guys, every time we work on cars, I tell you, when you're done or when you are finished for the time, just step back, put the car away for a day or two, just put it down and see what you think about it. And I know we talked about possibly coming back this week with this car and doing some rusting effects and everything else, but I don't know if you can see from the fading effects that some of the leftover paint that got weathered in and stuff kind of looks like rust at the top of the car anyway. All right, even on top here, on this side. So, I was talking to a couple of people. I think I mentioned it to Ray and I mentioned it to Steve, that I think I don't want to go any further with this car. Some of the pictures I was able to see, and I was only able to find pictures from 2014 and before. I haven't been able to find really too many more pictures that of this car later on. 2014, I guess the car was still relatively new, and all I could find was pictures with a slight amount of weathering and graffiti on it. So, after 2014, I'm not sure what these cars look like. I've not been able to find a decent picture, but I'm going to just assume that this car would be more closer to up to date, sans any graffiti. I don't like doing graffiti. I don't like graffiti, so I'm not going to put graffiti on this car. If anybody else ever winds up with this car, they want to add graffiti to it, they can, but I'm not going to do it. So I say this car is pretty much done. I'm not going to do anything more to it. That's the reason why we're not working on it tonight. The only thing I will do tonight is possibly I'll rust up the wheels and I'll do the side frames, and that's it. And I'll do that in between working on the Caboose. What we have here is we got a Athearn Caboose. It's a bay window caboose. And where's the box? I don't know what I do with the box, but it's a C-50-9 bay window caboose. And I forget who the manufacturer was, but this is in the SPSF proposed merger scheme. All right, they did. Ray was like teasing around last night on his live stream. They got ahead of themselves with doing the paint jobs on the locomotives and some of the rolling stock, because the merger was shot down by I guess it was by the ICC or by whoever was in charge at the time. And the merger didn't go through. And I think it would have been a good merger, Southern Pacific and Santa Fe, but never happened. But they did have some of these rolling stock painted up. So, and I liked it. I did some rail fanning in the late 80s, early 90s, and I saw SPSF engines and SPSF cabooses. And I thought it was sharp. I kind of like it. So, and let's see, let me just check something out here. And so it's something that could have been, but anyway, they did last a while. I don't know how long these cabooses and the engines stayed in this scheme, but so I don't know how much they weathered, how much of a beating they took. So we're definitely going to go with a lighter weathering on this car. I know sometimes it's hard for me to do because I get a little carried away, and sometimes I overdo it. But we're going to go with a little bit lighter weathering. We will fade it some, and we'll probably get to the fade tonight, trying to finish up the wheels on the Winchester and Western car, and then we will revisit this at a later date, possibly next week if we don't get that far. So anyway, let's see. Anybody else join on since I got on here? Let's just double check here. Click over here. Here we go. All right. Come on, stop. Stop. My computer's acting all funny here. I don't want to see any of this stuff. There we go. Okay. Anybody else? No, anybody else? Okay, so anyway, we have 16 people watching. If you want to say hi, and I'll acknowledge you. Before we get into the color wheel, let me just get the beverage of the week here. Don't forget, we have a couple of sponsors. We have a sponsor and we have people who support us. First and foremost, I want to thank Ray around the Layout Podcast for always being supportive of the live stream, and he's helped me out in many different ways. I really appreciate it, Ray. And don't forget, around the Layout Podcast, I think we had, how many episodes come out this week, Ray? We had almost 5 episodes come out this week. And Ray's a busy guy, and he finds time to do all this, and still does, spends time with his family and gets around the RPMs and everything else. So, around the Layout Podcast, join the operating crew. Best $3 you'll spend every month. Gets you onto the operating crew. You can get into the live chat every Tuesday night. There's discounts from some different manufacturers. There's the newsletter. Sign up for Around the Layout newsletter, and there's lots of great things a lot of benefits. The best $3 you'll spend in the hobby. Also, I gotta acknowledge my cousin Lucille and her company, Unleaded Beverage Company. She is the provider of the beverages, non-alcoholic beverages that we consume every week on the live stream. That's unleadedbev.com. If you mention me, Cousin Teddy, you will get 10% off your total order. So make sure you get a chance, get some great non-alcoholic beers, and some, she even has non-alcoholic bourbons, wines, spirits, all kinds of stuff like that. So check it out. Let's see, anybody else? Oh yeah, and Steve, don't forget Steve. A lot of you came from Steve's Ironwood Railroad on the Pine live stream. Great job tonight, Steve. So check out Steve's Ironwood Railroad live stream every Saturday night before we come on at 7:30. So anyway, Bobby, we have this week, we have Untitled Art. It's the last candidates that I have. I have to order some more. I've got to get some IPAs. I've been missing out on the IPAs that I get from there. But this is Flavor Citra Haze. And this is kind of like a unfiltered, I don't want to say lager. It's not a lager. It's almost like a Belgian style beer. All right. It's got a little bit of citrus in it, and it's really good. So we're going to pop this open. We'll have our drink, and we'll get started. So, all right. Your chat's doing something weird. I don't know. I got everything set the right way. I got the microphone on. I have everything set to live chat. So I don't know. Anyway, guys, cheers. Let's pour this out. Try not to spill any. You want to get beer on the model. A little too much of a foamy head today. So let me just let that settle down a little bit. Dripping some on the mat. Let's see. Anybody else join in? Let's see. Okay, we're good. All right. Sorry, guys. I didn't get to put out any reminders out on the various Facebook groups today. I was feeling just a little bit under the weather today, but I am soldering on through, so I can be here tonight with you guys and do a little bit of weathering live. All right. Let's try to pour the rest of this in here. And then we'll take a sip. We'll just leave the rest for a little bit later. All right, guys, cheers. Happy Saturday night. Down the hatch. Very good. One more sip. Pour the rest in. And we'll put the can off to the side here. All right. All right, so we have this SP Caboose, it's Southern Pacific, from the failed SPSF merger scheme. It's a nice bright red. So if anybody wants to take the guess, we've talked about this lots of times in the past, what the complementary color of red is. What's the complementary color of red? Let's take a see. Let's see if anybody knows. Am I going to Stewart's tomorrow? You know, I didn't realize Stewart was operating tomorrow. Ron, how you doing anyway? Thanks for joining in. Ron got it. Ron's the first one in. Bobby Hall's the second one in. Green. Complementary color of red is green. So we'll be using a green tonight. Red is green. Oh, excuse me. I'm sorry, guys. I didn't mean to burp in your ears there, but all right. So red, green. We're going to be using green tonight for our fade. I don't have a Kelly green or a green green. The closest thing I have to a light green is this olive green. Let's see, olive green. So we'll be using this. We'll use a little bit of yellow to lighten up that green, and we'll be using a little bit of white to help lighten everything up after the complementary color goes in. All right, so that's what we're going to use it for that. If we get to it, which I don't think we're going to get to it, but if we do, then we'll go on to doing our wash. The wash will probably be brown for green vehicles. That's what I like to use on red. Like I said, if we don't get to it tonight, we will definitely get to it next week. And we'll save it for next week, so I won't go too crazy with this. So, all right, guys, so let's shake some of this up. I didn't do it ahead of time. Sorry about that. But we will go and hit this on the vortex spinner. And then we'll get putting the dots down. Just a reminder, when we do our fade, we like to do the main color, which would be the green, is going to be the most amount of paint that's going to be on there. And I do it in dots, so it's easy for me to figure out how much I have on the car. So the green will be the most, so maybe we'll go like 8 dots across, and then the other ones will be half. So half of 8 will be 4 dots of yellow, 4 dots of white, all right? We'll try that out first. If it's not light enough, then we'll go back and hit it some more. Oh, so you can see a big difference between this car and the yellow car from last week, the Winchester and Western, because this car's got a nice matte finish on it. This has definitely been painted, whereas that Winchester Western car was not painted. That was printed in yellow, and they just put the lettering on top of that. That's why that car was so shiny. So we are going to do our dots, and then we will fade them in. Now there's yellow on the ends of the car, so we're going to have to change that up a little bit. I got to be very careful too when I go into the ends of the car, because again, we have these very delicate details, and I have a tendency of breaking them off or slightly damaging them and having to glue things back in place. So let's go with the next question. Since we have a little bit of yellow on the car, what's the opposite of yellow on the color wheel? What is the opposite of yellow on the color wheel? If you remember from last week. Bill Hawk, how are you? I don't think I saw you earlier. How you doing, Bill? Thanks for being here. Yes, I will be try to be dainty with the details on this car. This is a Genesis car, so it's definitely got even more details and daintiness to it than the car from last week. So, purple, awesome. Jimmy Land, how you doing, Jimmy? Jimmy's got it. Jimmy's got the prize. I don't know what the prize is, but you win. Yellow is purple. So we don't have purple, but we do have red and blue. So when we get to the yellow on the ends, we'll do a tiny bit of red and blue on there with some white. All right, so we'll start off with the green. All right. So make sure this is in the camera. Let's put everything else out of the way. And let's see, we're going to do an even amount across the top. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's put 2 up here. And went a little light with the color. Like I said, we're trying to go a little lighter on this car this week because, like I said, I'm not sure if JP is here or JP jumps in. I'll ask JP how long this scheme went for. I know it was only a couple of years, and they were shot down for the merger. So I guess we'll find out. Let's give it a little bit of yellow. We'll go 1, 2, 1 there. 1, 2. And we'll go with some white. Let's shake this up a little bit more. Put it right next to the yellow. Oops. And we'll blend this all in. Let's get our brush. Let's see, we want to use this brush today. No, this brush is not perfect for this. Let's make sure, let's put this car away for now. I'm going to move this car out of the way. And we'll put this over here. Hopefully it doesn't roll off the desk. Make sure this is clean. Okay, so we're going to blend this in. So, go across the car. Get some into the area that we didn't put a dot on. I'm not going to worry if I get it on the glass. A little odorless thinner will clean the glass right up. Got to be careful in here. This is a separate piece here, this grab iron. We'll do a little rotational spin on this. Get some on this apparatus underneath. Got us using all these big words today. Now there is a little yellow on the ends of these of this bay window here, so We'll see how that turns out. I got a little bit on there, but that's not a problem. We can go back with a little bit of the purple later. And that'll all blend in anyway. All right, it's not a big deal if everything kind of overlaps a little bit. So you can see that red fading out really nicely here. There we go. All right, let's move on to a different brush. We'll clean this brush off a little bit. It's got a brush that's, let's see, where's this guy right here. The brush has none of that paint on there, so this should help blend it even more. And then we'll finish off with a sponge. I think the Kodachrome engines lasted longer than the Cabooses. I think it was around the time that this was trying to happen. They were starting to get rid of Cabooses anywhere on most of the railroads. So late 80s, early 90s, right? So definitely saw some SP and SF Kodachrome engines still floating around into the 90s, early 2000s, I think. Okay, let's see. All right, let's get a clean sponge. All right, wipe some out of the way. Let's see if we can get into that, clean that window off a little bit. Probably gonna have to get one of those little wand sponges, the eyeshadow sponge, whatever they call them, and use that to clean the window off a little bit more. All right, there you go. This is fading out nicely. Like I said, we don't want to go too crazy today. We're going for a light effect, so a little lighter on the fading, not as heavy as we normally do. And when we get to the grind part, it's going to be the same thing. Try really hard not to overdo it. It's easy to overdo it. Get carried away. You get so excited doing this sometimes, and you just want to keep going, and not every car is not deferred maintenance and beat up and super dirty. Now let's get out one of our little sponges. Oh, here it is. We got our box of sponges that we got from Amazon. Buy everything in bulk, guys. You get it in bulk from Amazon instead of trying to buy from distributors who all they do is hobby. If you go to, well, not so much for these, but even if you go to the makeup store for this, like Ulta or someplace like that, they give you small amounts and they are they're priced as much as buying this whole box, right? It's like I buy these little micro brushes, and I'm running low in this crate. I think I had 300 in here. You buy a pack of these at Hobby Lobby or even in a hobby shop, and it might be 5 to 10 brushes, and they're charging you $6, $7 for it, or even $5 for it. I just got this refill here because that's running out. This is it says 500. How many are in here? It might be, yeah, I think it's 500. Yeah, because it's 5 packs of 100, different sizes. I think I paid $7 for this. So do yourself a favor. If you're doing a lot of painting or you're doing a lot of detail work and you need these micro brushes, this will last. The other one lasted me probably two years, I think. So it'll be a long time before I go through those, before I go through all those micro brushes. So all right, let's get in here a little bit, clean that window. Make the conductor get out here and get the Windex and clean some of the grime off the window there. And also use that to get in a little bit more around the window frame. and then we'll show you guys the progress of where we're at right now. All right, so this is before. All right, this is after. This is about 10 minutes worth of fading. All right, so a lot of this stuff goes quickly. You know, I'm always taking my time because I'm talking, but this goes real quick. So you guys can, even if you just want to do a light fade on a car, grab a car, use the method, get the color wheel, and you should be able to do a fade on a car within a half hour. All right, you don't stop and talk to people and stuff like that. So it's my job to stop and talk to you guys. So I got to explain what I'm doing. So anyway, guys, let's have another drink. Cheers again. Happy Saturday. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing. We'll do what we do. We did 10 dots across of the green, and then we did half the amount of the white and the yellow. So let's go again. We'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And so it's like a 2-to-1 ratio. And the white and the yellow, we're actually going to do, you know, yeah, we're going to do 5. We're going to do 5 because half of 10 is 5. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Same thing on the white. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, we'll get the original brush that we started with, which was this one here. It was this guy, so we'll start with this one. Again, we'll make sure it's clean. We'll wipe it off on a paper towel really good over here. And we'll start blending this in. Go all the way across the car right away. Again, we're not going to worry about the window. Then we'll start swirling it. Battery box down here, make sure we get some on there. Might have to add some to it, we'll see. Get underneath the grab iron there, or handrail. Work that in. You know, anything that's on the bottom of the car is going to be a little dirtier than everything else. You know, because of all the grime that gets kicked up off the roadbed there. Really, really work that in really good. Make sure we get some on top there. We will switch brushes. Wipe that off. Go to this brush here. Same thing, this brush is a little cleaner. Swirl it around. Get the blend in. So the green helped tone down the red, and the yellow brightened up that green a little bit, and the white helps give it the final fade. So you get a lighter shade of red here. Let's clean off that brush. We'll hit it with the sponge. Let's clean the window first a little bit. Get that conductor out there with the Windex and the squeegee again there. And then we'll go in with our sponge and just wipe away a little bit more, just to lighten up that fade a little bit more. And you know, fade is just, you know, you are trying to replicate the effects of the sun, all right? And some colors fade faster than others. I think red fades pretty quick. If you ever looked at the BNSF war bonnets, and there were I guess they were GEs. What do they call them? GEVOs, maybe? Maybe some of their GEVOs had that war bonnet paint scheme. They have weathered down to a pink, like a very pale pink, which I don't like, but I mean, you know, that's what it is. And if you're a BNSF modeler and you want to model a car, or whether a locomotive to look like that, that's what you got to do. And that's just a fade. That's the UV rays, especially those units are out west in the desert and in the dry southwest. All right, let's wipe a little bit more of that away. Stubborn spots, we can get in there with the stick a little bit. Take a little bit more out of there. That's it. All right. Take a close-up look. All right, so it matches the other side here. All right. We're going to do the roof next, and then we're going to move on to trying to fade out that yellow a little bit, all right? The purple, very little. And got to be very careful when I go in there. So, all right, so we're going to work on the roof next. All right, so let's get our green. Yeah, it does, right? I know a lot of the colors when you get tattooed, they don't last. You've got to go back and get them redone a little bit, touched up if you want to fix them up. So I'm sure other colors too. I don't have any tattoos. I know Steve's got a bunch. I don't know. Steve would probably be more expert on it than I would be, but yeah, I'm pretty sure you got to get touched up every so often if you want the red to stay in there. I thought about getting a tattoo once. I kind of walked away from it. I like the band Sepultura, so I kind of like some of their art. I was thinking about getting either the indigenous guy that was on the Roots cover, Roots by the Roots, or one of their skulls. And I said, nah, I decided against it. I didn't get it. If you want to say chicken out, yeah, I guess I chickened out. I don't know. I'm also too of the mind of not doing anything like that to myself anymore. That's back when I was a little bit more free-spirited, let's say. So anyway, all right, so we got green on there. So how many did we do? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 on each side. So we will do 4 yellow on each side and 4 white on each side. So we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4. Same thing on the other side. We'll go 1, 2. Let's dip the brush again. 3, 4. Bet you guys couldn't figure me out to be a Sepultura fan, huh? Oh, that's cool, Steve. Do you got any red? Like any of it's red and stuff, or? Yeah, I don't know, but let's see. Oh, we had a couple of people. Est Pandy Projects. Welcome. If you want to just shoot what your first name is, I'll try to remember and call you by your first name. So, and what else? Did somebody else say something? Yeah, Steve said he doesn't have any fading issues. That's good. I think it depends upon the ink, I guess, somebody uses too, and their talent and how good they are as a tattoo artist. Yeah, I think Steve's got some really cool ones. I see him on, you can see him on, especially when he's working on stuff, I could see him. He's got that cool skull on your one hand there, Steve. I like that a lot. Andy. All right, Andy. Oh, Andy, how you doing, buddy? All right, Andy, I remember you. You were my, I was your engineer and you were my conductor. Yeah, we had a good time over at Dave R's. Yeah, thanks for joining. Thanks for being on tonight with us. Hope you enjoy it. All right. I don't think we caught anybody else. So, all right, so let's start working this in. Oh, I forgot the white. I almost forgot the white. I got excited there and I forgot the white. So let's get the white on there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right. All right. Yeah, we had the whole New York contingent over at that op session. That was great. You, Heath, well, Jimmy Schweitzer, but Jimmy Schweitzer is always comes over. I forget the other guy's name. There was quite a few of you there. That was great. And Dave always appreciates when you guys make the trip over. I know it's not cheap. You got to pay the toll going back, and I guess if you share the ride, it's not bad. That's what we usually do. If we go to Phil Monat's, Phil's like two tolls going over, 1 toll coming back, because that Henry Hudson Bridge is a killer. Although if Broadway's not too bad of shape, we'll sneak down Broadway and go across the Free Bridge and up to Phil's. Phil's in the Bronx, the Riverview section of the Bronx. So, in case anybody knows, Phil does the Delaware Susquehanna Freelance Railroad, modern day with D&H type paint scheme on it, really sharp railroad. Runs really great, lots of fun. It's just a little bit of a pain for me to get there, so I don't show up to as often as I used to, but lots of fun. Yeah, Phil's tomorrow, right? Yeah. So Phil's tomorrow, and I know Stewart is tomorrow. I just found that out. I got to get to Stewart's railroad. Stewart does Bangor and Aroostook. I am a closet Bangor and Aroostook fan. I liked them when I was younger. Spent some time up in Maine and New England, and always kind of liked that railroad. So I will live vicariously through Stewart. Got a couple of friends that model different railroads that I liked, and I say, I live vicariously through them. Like Tom Schmieder does the Lackawanna, so I live vicariously, model the Lackawanna through Tom, helped him on his layout. Let's see, who else? My friend Ralph Heiss does Lehigh Valley. I've always had a little bit of a liking for Lehigh Valley, so I live vicariously through him. All right, let's clean this brush off. Get the other brush. We're going to blend this in. You can see this is built up a little bit more on top than on the sides. We did do double amount of paint because I did 1 dot for each side of the roof, so I could have probably went lighter, but that's okay because the roof takes a beating, right? The roof is exposed to the sun the most. It gets the most weather exposure, the rain, the grime, whatever Mother Nature throws at it, right? So we will work this in, get some on this unique radio antenna here. It looks like a flying saucer. They also have the, is this a light up? I think this lights up. This is a marker light, I guess. Maybe somebody can correct me on it, but I think this lights up, and I think on the model it lights up too. So it was unique to the SP, from what I understand. Let me take another drink. Cheers, guys. All right, I'm gonna clean these brushes off. All right, I'm gonna have to hit this with the sponge really good, trying to get some more excess off here. There you go. The sponge is working. Sponge is working its magic. Now I got to be careful here. This is a delicate part. I want to knock that off the top there. So again, Steve sent me this car and the Winchester and Western car. And we were going to talk amongst ourselves, what are we going to do with these cars? This might go up for sale, and we will use the money for our various projects. So if you're a Winchester and Western fan or a SP fan, let us know. Work something out for you. I think in the future, I will do a car and possibly hand it off to Ray as a gift to the Around the Layout to do as a giveaway. One of the operating crew giveaways. We will work that out down the road. So it'll be a car that's weathered by me. We'll have maybe some figures that Steve could do and add to the car, depending on what it is, maybe another Caboose. And we'll do that. Around the Layout supports us, so we would like to kick that back and support them as much as we can too. So, all right. All right, so that looks a little bit more faded. It looks a little bit dusty. You can see some of that yellow shows through a little bit, so it could almost be like the roof is, paint is peeling away and exposing some of other paint underneath. All right, we are going to stop right there. And let's get out our blue and our red, because we need to make a little bit of purple for the yellow on the end. So blue, red. I think for that, what I'll do is I will put a little bit out in the dish here. I'll add some blue and some red, mix it together to make the purple, and we'll see how it goes there. SP did like their lights. Yes, they did. Yep. Yeah, and the Bangor and Aroostook BL2s, yeah, that's a funky engine. I always kind of like that. One of the first engines I had when I was a kid was an AHM Bangor and Aroostook BL2. That's probably why I kind of like the B in the bar a little bit. And I think Lifelike Proto did that later on, and they did a really nice job. They did the American Railroad version of it, and I don't think they ever did any of the later scheme. They did make some of the blue ones. I like the blue, the blue solid dip scheme too. So very interesting railroad up there. I'd be interested to see what Stuart has done so far. Like I said, I just haven't had a chance to get there. I can only do so many op sessions in a month. And I tried to explain this to somebody because, there's so many people around here to operate now. I remember when I first got back into the hobby, we didn't have any operating layouts. The only people that were operating at the time was Tony Custer, and it was really hard to get in on that layout. That was the old Allegheny Midland. And who else was operating? I think Jerry Dietzick maybe, and Stan White, who lived out just over the border in Pennsylvania. That was it. Oh, Harold Worthwine. Harold Worthwine's Erie was operating. So it was really, a lot of operators, no layouts to operate on. It was hard to get into sessions and stuff. Now, we have so many people building layouts and so many layouts online now, and it's hard. I literally could go to 3 operating sessions a week, a Friday, Saturday, and a Sunday, right? Although a lot of people don't operate Fridays and Saturdays, but some people do operate Friday. I could do a Saturday, Sunday every weekend. That would land me in divorce court. And I've already been divorced once, and I don't want to go through that again. So I have to pick and choose. My friend Perry Squire, he does Pittsburgh and Shawmut. I love his layout. I always tell people it's my favorite layout, and I do like, there's a lot of layouts I like in the area, but his is my favorite, and I do not miss Perry's. I go to Perry's every single month. I do operate Angelica Yard. I'm the yard master there. And it's a floor, it operates flawlessly. All his engines, his track work. If something happens, you derail, it's usually because you threw a switch underneath your engine or underneath your car. So I love operating at Perry's. I go to Perry's every month. If he's not operating in a certain month, and some months he doesn't, a lot of times in the summertime, he takes off because he goes to do a lot of golfing. I'll go to other people's. And then what I do is like the other day I do 2 in a month. I'll try to change it up. Like this month I'm going to go to my friend Ted Pamperin's C&O layout, New River Gorge. Last month I went to Dave Ramos's. Dave's not operating this month, but I went to Dave's last month. And that was the same weekend as Ted's. Ted was on a Saturday, Dave was on a Sunday. And again, I can't do like two in a row. So I try to change it up. One month I'll go do Dave Olson's C&O, modern C&O, Allegheny division. Let's see, is this purple enough? I might have to hit this a little bit more red. We get a little bit more red. Where else do I operate? I go to John Rogers sometimes. So John Rogers does the main central. Beautiful layout. John's another craftsman. You know, and it's like all different layouts. I haven't been to Stewart's yet. I'm going to try to get to Stewart's one of these days. Tony's is still hard to get into. Tony has a full crew. I'm on the extra board, so every so often I'll show up at Tony's. Nickel plate. And Tony's building another layout upstairs in his sunroom. He's doing an O-scale Wabash. I don't know if he's ever going to get around to operating that, but he's been working on that. And who else? We got Jerry Disick does the Susquehanna, early Susquehanna, with a little bit of LNHR in it. He's the one that usually runs on a Friday night. We're going to add some of this purple here to the inside now. Just a little. We're not going to go too crazy on this. Maybe a little bit on the end steps there too. And go some on the other side. We'll also get a little bit on this bay window here. This here, a little bit there. Get a little bit more. Add it to the inside here. And just a little bit on the step here. We can get whatever we got there and brush it in on the side steps here. I'm not going to worry too much about that. Okay. Let me clean this brush off. This is one of my detail brushes, so I don't want to leave this dirty too long. I'm going to get a little bit of thinner into the dish over here. Let's see, did I miss... Ron, you still there? Did I miss anybody's layouts? I know there's a few more. I'm having a brain fart here. Oh, my friend Ralph Heiss, his Lehigh Valley, New York Harbor scene. Ralph and Dave both do float bridges and car float operations. Ralph is got the car float in Jersey City with the distinctive Lehigh Valley bridge for the float bridge. Somebody had made that for him. I forget who it was. The fellow passed away, but very beautiful model of the Lehigh Valley float bridge. Dave has got 2 float yards, plus the New York Central High Line and New York Central 33rd Street. So he's basically got 4 layouts in one room. And you can operate, and he can go anywhere from 3 operators to have a session all the way up to 14 operators, depending on how many people show up. And each section of the layout can run as a separate layout. So, oh, I missed something here. Let's see. Let me get a little bit of the purple on this part of the this bay window here I didn't get, so yeah, a little bit more of that. Anyway, are you guys into operation? I think that's one of the highlights of the hobby for me, because not only do you get to operate like a real railroad, but also you get together with your friends. And it's one of the greatest things about this hobby. If you choose to be social, You have lots of opportunities to be social. And I'm sorry, Ray, I didn't get a chance to answer the question for around the layout question of the month. But the question was, what is it besides the models that you enjoy about the hobby, or something along that effect? And to me, it's all the friends I've made. I have all my friends, every single friend I have right now, I've made through the hobby. Some of my best friends are in this hobby. Some of the best friends made. Yeah, my best friend I've ever had, unfortunately, passed away about a decade ago now. My friend Wayne Sortman, best friend I ever had, and I met him through the hobby. And so this hobby's given me a lot, and I am so happy that I'm in it. I'm so happy and pleased and blessed for the people that have been in the hobby with me. I might have to get a smaller brush for this. And I'm sure there's a lot of people that feel the same way. This hobby's a blessing. It's just, I can't think of anything else. And I've been involved in other stuff. I mean, I'm a motorcyclist, although I don't have a bike at the time. I used to go to rallies once in a while and on rides with people, but I didn't make any really good friends like I did in the hobby here. I just love this hobby. All right. And a lot of you guys, some of you guys, you're people that I hang out with when I'm not on the live stream, and you know who you are, and I appreciate you, and I love you guys. And like I said, this is the best hobby in the world, and I'm sure you could feel that way about any hobby. Watch a little bit of remote control playing guys, and I'm sure those guys in those clubs and stuff, they have a good time and they are happy. I tried a little bit of remote control for a little while, but crashing a $300 plane after you spent months building it is not fun. So that kind of gave that up real quick. But I can appreciate it. I like watching these other guys. You see some of these guys, especially over in Europe, they got these full-size jetliners, 737, 777s, 747s. So it's a $30,000 airplane. I was like, who the hell builds a $30,000 airplane or buys one? It's like investing in a car, and then you crash it, and then what? So I hear they got insurance, but I can't imagine how much the insurance is on those things and how much they cost. It's definitely a wealthy man's hobby, at least on that end. But there's parts of this hobby too. You could say it's a wealthy man's hobby. If you ever looked at a division point locomotive and how much they cost, a division point car, yeah, it's a rich man's hobby too. It could be, right? But again, you don't have to be rich to participate. All right, there's a lot of stuff you can do on a budget. You could take some cheap cars and weather them up with this weathering techniques and make them look great. I've done a lot of blue box cars in my day. And not the more current blue box car like the Winchester Western. We say blue box because it's the blue box, but it's not like the old blue box shake the box cars. All right, a little different than that. Let's get in the ends here. Might have to add a little bit more purple in there, but we'll see. Let's rub that in there. You don't have to have a scale train locomotive or a Rapido locomotive. Sometimes you can have them because when they're used and they've been used for a while and somebody's looking to get out of the hobby, sometimes you can get them cheaper. I've gotten some Rapido stuff like that, but I'm not a rich guy. I'm a retired teacher, taught pastry and culinary arts at a technical high school, so I don't have a lot of money. I got to be wise with my money, so I'll buy cheaper cars. I like AccuRail cars. I love AccuRail cars. I love building them, putting them together. And I've done a lot of weathering projects on AccuRail cars, and they look pretty good. Especially when I first started out weathering, they still came out pretty good. Hey, be careful, be careful. That handrail was not happy with me. All right, let's get some into the stairwell there. Add some into each one. Just whatever's on the brush. Knock that in there. And that's all we need. All right. Now we've dulled down. It actually looks a little bit of reddish or purplish in there. It's as good as I can get. I will get in there with a little sponge and knock a little bit of that down, but we are going to move on. So let's clean the brushes off. We are at just about an hour, and we're doing good. So let's get the brush, a little sponge. Let's get in here and let's clean that up a little bit more in there. Ian says, my wife is a quitter. There are some embroidery machines that can cost the same as a car. Oh, I can imagine, buddy. It's funny because it seems like a lot of our spouses, my spouse doesn't, but I have a lot of friends who are in the hobby. Their wives are into quilting or embroidering, stuff with fabric. And yeah, one buddy was telling me about, he went to a quilters convention with his wife, and he says, I cannot believe the stuff they have there and the cost of everything. And it's just like anything else. You get involved and you can easily get sucked in and just spending a lot of money. But I mean, if you're happy and you can do it and you afford it and you're responsible, a responsible person in the hobby, you won't overdo it. You know, I try to be very responsible. I try not to spend too much. If I'm going to spend money on a hobby, usually what I'll do is I'll find stuff that I'm not using anymore and I will sell it. And I've done that a lot of times in the past. My buddy who passed away, my friend Wayne, he was a hoarder. We were both in N-scale at the time, and he had about 10,000 N-scale cars, a couple of thousand engines. And I said to him, Wayne, what are you going to do with all these engines? What are you going to do with all these cars? You know, it's going to be something that your wife's going to have to deal with later on. He goes, well, you never know when I'm going to need them. And he used to yell at me when I used to sell stuff. I'm like, dude, I sell stuff because if I'm not going to use it, I'm not going to save it. I am going to use the money for something I'm working on currently. And that's what I've done. You know, when I got out of N-scale, I got rid of all the N-scale stuff, sold it all. And I was doing the HON3 for a while. I was modeling the EBT, and I bought some EBT brass engines, and I was working on EBT coal cars. And when that changed, when I came up against a financial situation in my divorce, I sold all that off, and I bought some stuff from Mom and Pa. And I modeled the Mom and Pa for quite a few years. In fact, if you want to see that layout, you can go on Blogspot, and it was, you just look up Mom and Pa 1943, Mom and Pa Railroad 1943, and it'll take you to my old blog. It's still there, I never took it down. And you can see how far I got with that layout before I went a different direction and took it down. So, all right, did I miss any more spots? No, okay. I missed a couple spots there. All right, so let's take a look at the ends. All right, so let's just get that. It's a little too much there. All right, so we faded out the end a little bit with that purple, because yellow needs purple as a complementary color. We did the red with the green, with a little bit of white and yellow, just to lighten it up a little bit. So you can see we get a nice fade going around on top of the car, around the car. He even successfully did something with the yellow. I have, as far as I can tell, guys, I haven't broken anything. This light looks a little cockeyed, but I think it was like that. If not, I got to work on getting it back in a little bit, but it's okay. I fixed that later on. I think what I want to do is maybe hit the top a little bit, maybe with the small sponge, just to get some of this excess out of there. So it's a little bit excessive. Some of it is, not much. And again, like I said, the roof is going to be more dirty and more wetter than anything else on the car. So we're not going to stress too much over it. I just want to get a little bit of the extra off there. So, all right. Okay. In a perfect world, if I wasn't doing this live stream every week, I would let this sit overnight. As you notice, a lot of weeks, most every week, I do not let it sit. I will move on and start doing the washes and everything else. And it works. I mean, you can see the cars come out good. I've done that almost every week. There's been a few weeks when I've put things down, especially like with those 86-foot Penn Central box cars we did a while back. Same thing with some of the passenger cars. I'll leave it because it's just too much in one big jump. If you are patient, you can let this go to the next day and let the oils dry and then go back with your washes. We can go and do the wash tonight, but I think what I want to do is I want to let this go. We will definitely revisit the SP car next week, finish it up. If I feel ambitious during the week, maybe I'll do a standalone video and do it then and move on to something next week. But right now, we're going to leave this for next week. Maybe, well, we'll even leave the trucks for next week. We'll leave this go. We'll put this here. I don't want to block Ray's sticker here around the layout podcast. We are going to go back to our Winchester and Western car. I am going to do the wheels and the side frame. And we will rust up the wheels. We'll dirty up the side frame. So we will get our pigments here. Right here is a mixture of Russian earth and dark earth. Dark earth's the lighter shade of the two. Sometimes I like to mix them together. Sometimes one a little darker, a little lighter. Sometimes I go by what the color in the car and what's gonna kind of highlight a little bit with the car. So I think the little bit of the lighter mixed in with the dark is gonna work good with this. And we'll be using our, not this, this is Vallejo. We're gonna be using our MIG acrylic old rust. Acrylic old rust for the wheel sets. We will do the wheel sets first, all right? So shake up this old rust. Hey, Bob, I didn't see you there, Bob. Take care. Thanks for being here tonight, and I'll catch you later on, all right, buddy? Bob Stetzer, another Penn Central guy. Bob's got a great layout. He's out in Pennsylvania, so I've never had a chance to get out and visit him. One of these days, maybe I will be able to get out to see Bob's Penn Central layout. Bob has one of the cars I weathered early on. Penn Central, I think it was an 86-foot box car. Oh no, maybe not. It might have been a 50-foot box car that I weathered in rust. It was one of my first rusting attempts, and it's running revenue and mileage on Bob Stetzer's layout. So, and he sent me video proof of it running on the layout a while back after he got the car. So, 50-foot. Thank you, Bob. Appreciate it. You're still there. I appreciate it, dude. Yeah, I think you're out by who's the guy that does the Reading there? I forget. I'm having a brain fart. These old people that I know really well and stuff. But one of these we'll get out there and come out and see a proper Penn Central layout. All right, let's put a little bit of this old rust in the dish there. All right, a couple of dots will do you. Wipe off the cap. Bethlehem, all right. Jim Herzog, yeah. I've known Jim for years, and I'm having brain farts as I get older. So, operated on Jim's once or twice. I did the pusher service, and I did something else. I forget what it was. I worked one of the yards one time. Great layout. And he's been in great model railroads a few times. And he was in model railroad planning a couple times too. So great layout, great people. And I'm dropping stuff here, guys. Sorry about that. Now, let me take a drink real quick, and then we'll move on to rusting out our wheels. Again, cheers. All right. We will pop out one of our little micro brushes. Again, we leave the wheels in the trucks. We don't bother taking them out. We don't have to mask them. We don't do anything like that. No need to go through all that fuss. All right, so we will dip our brush into the rust, drop the brush into the wheel face, go around a couple times, make sure we get up just about onto the tread, but not on the tread. There's one. Another guy that's out by Bob is Larry Reynolds. I think Larry's not too far from Bob, and that is another fabulous railroad. It does the Pennsylvania Railroad Middle Division, including Horseshoe Curve, and he's got a good Horseshoe Curve. Beautiful layout. Steam era. Another guy whose stuff runs like a Swiss watch. Awesome, awesome. See, I operated on, who else out there? I forget. All right, well, that's all right. If I remember, I'll bring it up. If you're wondering about operations and stuff, a good way to get involved is to get involved with the Operation SIG. And they have sometimes a list of people who are operating in certain areas and divisions. There's operators weekends that you can sign up for and go and operate on layouts. I know out by Ian they have Island Ops, and that's out on the Long Island with where Ian lives. That's a good one to get involved with. There's used to be Susquehanna and it was a combined weekend, Susquehanna and area and Pennsylvania area weekend, and I've done both. I've done, one year I did the Lehigh area guys, and then one year I did the Susquehanna area guys. A lot of fun. There's River Rail out in Wisconsin you can go to. Rocky Ops. A lot of times there's RPMs and there's operations built into the RPM. Like if you go to every other year, you go to Valley Forge. It's in Malvern, Pennsylvania. It's not this year. This year is going to be out by the Pittsburgh area, out west Pennsylvania, but every other year it's in the Philadelphia area. And there's op sessions involved with that. So lots of opportunities if you want to get to operations. All right, let's see. Yep. They've been in Great Model Railroad and Model Railroad Planning, and both of those are being discontinued. I'm very sad and upset about that. I don't really do Model Railroad anymore because I don't think it's worth it, but I've always bought MRP and the occasional Great Model Railroads just to see the layouts, especially MRP. Tony always did a great job with editing MRP. Always interesting. I have every single issue since day one, 1995. And I have last year's, which is obviously the last year anymore now. So it's a shame, but I almost said Royal Crown, Fire Crown, not Royal Crown, not RC Kohler, and not the whiskey maker up in Canada, the Crown Royal Crown, but Fire Crown. They have to make financial decisions and streamline their operations. So hoping eventually they turn Model Railroad around. We're going to go a little different route this week. Normally we do cursed soil. I am going to try, and I think I did this once before. I'm going to use this damp earth. So damp earth is definitely a lot darker than the beige that is cursed soil. This is a little bit more of a brown, almost like a rusty brown. If you put it next to this rust in the trade area, it's kind of a little rust color. So we're going to use this on the trucks this week. Just try it out. We'll put a little bit of dirt and a little bit of the rust color in there too. And let's shake this up a little bit more. Open this up. We will decant some of this out of here into our, and this looks like it's a little bit thick. It looks like it's been drying out in the bottle. I don't know what happened. Maybe this bottle wasn't sealed up good. That's okay. We can add a little bit of thinner to this. So let me get the thinner out. We'll drop some in the bottle so we can extend the bottle. It doesn't get ruined on us. And this is not a color I use too often, but it's definitely, the bottle's been opened before, so I might not have, let's add some in there. Add some into the bottle. I might not have sealed it up good enough. So I'll put 3 eyedroppers full in here. And then we will close this up. We'll mix up that stuff that's in the tray there and see what happens. Let's get a different brush. We will use this brush here. Mix up the tray. There we go. That's a lot better. And let's close this bottle up. Shake it up a little bit because we might have to get a little bit more out of there. Hey, Brad. Better late than never. Glad you're here, sir. Brad's got a channel. You guys go to Willow Creek Railroad on YouTube. Check out what he's been up to. He's been working on his layout. He's made some nice progress. Brad's also got a Facebook page for Willow Creek also, so check out Brad's Willow Creek Railroad on Facebook and YouTube. I always try to shout out the guys the channels that I enjoy, and Brad's is one of the channels I like. So, all right, so we're going to paint this wheel up. Oh wow, let's see. We might have to. It's like it's drying out already. All right, it's a good thing we shook this up. Let's add a little bit more in there. It's a little bit, still on a little bit on the thick side there. And we have to add a little bit more thinner to that too. Awesome. Steve gave you the link for Brad's channel. Make sure you guys check it out. Make sure you check out Steve's channel. Make sure you check out Around the Layout podcast. Listen to it anywhere you can listen to podcasts. You can do Patreon, which is where I normally get it off of, but sometimes I have YouTube on and I'll listen to Ray on YouTube. And I know you can get it on Apple and Spotify too, I think. Here we go. Let's get the excess off there. We don't want to put too much on there. All right, let's get these on the trucks. So we're just going to dab some on the trucks. Cover your truck up. This paint is what's going to be used to hold the powdered paint pigments on the side of the truck. What we're looking to do is you're looking to get that really rough texture that you see on side frames on these trucks in real life. They are cast. They are not painted. So you always have that rough texture. Oops. Got a little bit on the side of the car, and that's not a problem. So we cover the whole truck with that. While it's wet, we are going to go with another brush, and we are going to dab in some of this paint pigment, powdered paint pigment. That's all it is. If you were to add some odorless thinner to this, it would turn it into paint. All right. You can get a Russian earth paint or dark earth paint. All right. So we're just going to drop some of this on top. We are just dabbing it on. We are not painting it on. Do some on the other truck also. Like I said, you can use any brown color, any beige color. A lot of times I like to use the cursed soil because it's the lighter beige and it kind of shows up through the pigment just slightly. It gives you that little bit of a highlight. But we're trying something out a little different this week. We're using this damp earth. Knock off the excess. You are going to use your breath and blow some of it off. I also like to go in sometimes and add a tiny bit of rust. So I have some rust over in the corner here. Put that into the springs. And maybe on the bearings. A little bit on the bearings maybe. Just highlight some of the areas with that. Knock that off the brush. Bang some off. You can see the texture that I'm going for. When this dries, it'll look even nicer. All right. Turn the car over. We're going to repeat it on this side. Let's see, where's the brush that I did before that I got dirty with the, ooh, here it is. I think this is it. This is it. I think that's it. It's going to be it. Knock off the excess. Just dab that on there. Get the whole side frame wet with that brown color or tan color or whatever you're going to use, beige. Dip again, knock some of the excess off. Again, cover the whole truck. Get into the little nooks and crannies there. Wipe off the brush. We're going to go back. I got a little too much there. I'm going to take some more off. All right. Let's go back with our brush that we were putting on the pigment with. There it is. Gonna have to fill this tray back up, but you can see a little bit goes a long way, guys. You'll spend $5 to $6 on a bottle of whatever, whether it's the wash, the paints, or the pigments, but they'll last you a long time. You get quite a few models out of these products. And I love the MIG stuff, but you can substitute a lot of the stuff for AK. AK has a lot of the same products as MIG. I like the MIG products. It's what I learned on. It's what I'm experienced with. I don't have hardly any experience with AK outside of, I got one of their odorless thinners, and I think I have one or two acrylics. I do have some Vallejo, and Vallejo is another one. Vallejo has a lot of the same stuff as AK and as MIG. Although I do not think, and I could be wrong, somebody can correct me, I don't think they have enamels. I think they are strictly, almost positive that they are strictly acrylics. And I use the Vallejo acrylics on some of my painting projects. I use them especially on my figures. I got that from Steve. Steve does a lot with Vallejo on figures and AK. So that's what I use for that. Let's get a little bit of the rust. And the thing I told the story, and a lot of you guys might not realize that AK, Vallejo, and MIG were all the same company at one time. MIG used to be the original company. And then MIG Jimenez got divorced, and I guess his wife got half the assets when started another company, which became AK. And then somewhere down the road, a guy that worked for MIG left and started his own company, which became Vallejo. This is why they're all in Spain. All of them are in Spain. MIG, Ammo by MIG, AK, and Vallejo, all out of Spain. and they all have lineage to the original MiG company. All right, let's take a look. Winchester and Western's done. All right, we got our wheels rusted up. Got the side frames done. Side frames done. We still have the weathering and the fade that we did last week. I say this car is done. Very nice. I'm happy with it. Put it off to the side. Let's pick up the SP car. Like I said, the SP car, we are going to work on this next week. We'll go on to dirtying up the underframe with some wash and grime, doing some wash on the sides and the top and everything else. We'll finish up the trucks and we'll take it from there. Hope everybody had a great week. I hope you enjoyed the live stream. We are at almost an hour and a half, so this is where I like to be. Let's see, any more responses here? Any more questions? Okay, so Andy says, I was working on a project while I was on vacation without my normal stuff, and I used Army Painter recently. Yeah, you can use any of the military modelers' paints. Go to a gaming store. Do places that have military modelers or gaming, like what is it I'm looking for? Warhammer stores. They have the AK stuff. They have a lot of Vallejo. Sometimes they have the MiG stuff, right? Go outside of just your hobby shop. I mean, I know you can go online and order stuff. I get all my MiG stuff from down in Florida there. Spray Gunner Hobbies. I'm still having a brain fart, sir. Spray Gunner Hobbies, spraygunner.com. I highly recommend them. They have Vallejo. They have MiG. They have Army Painter, I think. Sometimes they have the Monument Hobbies is another one that makes some good gaming paints. If you can't find the ones that we're talking about, you can always try to substitute something else in there, all right? So like I said, I like Spray Gunner. I try to shout them out. I'll leave a link in the description for Spray Gunner if you want to go check them out. Always a great selection. Very fast service. They get the stuff to you within a couple of days after you order it. 2 to 3 days, I got my stuff. I got all my recent Vallejo purchases from them, all my oil brushers, my refills on my washes. I get everything from them. They're great service, great people. So, anyway, guys, thank you so much. Appreciate you being with me. Thanks for the compliments. Yeah, the Winchester car came good. Like I said, I know this car here, this SP, is going to look even better tomorrow when I look at it. So sometimes put the car aside, look at it, see what you want to do with it. And like on this car, we decided I wasn't going to do anything else. And I think it's fine the way it is. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for being here. We'll catch you next time, next Saturday at 9 o'clock on Saturday Night Live Weathering. Thanks, guys. Catch you later. Bye.